Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to another session of Indian Economy Essentials. And in today's session, let's decode or understand the recent Reserve Bank of India's repo rate pause. Now, what is the discussion all about? In case of India, the central banker, that is Reserve Bank of India, follows a concept of bi-monthly monetary policy. That is, once every 2 months, we have an announcement by the Monetary Policy Committee. Now, very recently, the Monetary Policy Committee, or the most important participant in the MPC, that is Reserve Bank of India, has made certain announcements regarding the changes that they want to introduce in the upcoming or in the next couple of months to adjust certain rates, to adjust certain policies. Now, what are the important announcements that have been done? First, very important announcement, the repo rate has been kept unchanged. Majority of the experts opine that, look at the situation in the Indian economy, considering the fact that inflation rate has still remained higher, the core inflation has remained sticky. Before the announcement by RBI, expected that RBI would go for one last time a hike in the repo rate. That is, repo rate would be increased one more time, and after that RBI would simply stop increasing the repo rate and would facilitate the growth in the Indian economy. Because the argument is very simple here. Whenever the repo rate is increased, that's a policy rate. Whenever the repo rate is increased, the banks will also increase the lending rate, and that would reduce the money supply or increase the cost of the credit in the market. And whenever the loans become very costly, rate of interest is higher, it would definitely have an impact on investment scenario or credit offtake by the banking sector. So looking at this, for the last many monetary policies, that is since May 2022, Reserve Bank of India has continuously kept on increasing repo rate, although at different rates. In some of the policies, it was increased by 25 basis points. In some of the policies, it was increased by more than 25 basis points. So initially we saw repo rate being increased by a higher margin, and later gradually it has been reduced to 25 basis points. So the repo rate was expected to be increased, but RBI has surprised many of these experts and has announced that it will not change the repo rate. It will keep the repo rate unchanged. And the reasons that have been cited by Reserve Bank of India are the following. First one, the inflation rate is expected to moderate. Although the inflation for the last couple of months is on a higher level, the inflation is expected to moderate in the financial year. That is, as per the RBI's estimates, inflation rate has been revised downwards for the current financial year from 5.3% to 5.2%. That is for the financial year 24. And for the financial year 25, it would further moderate to 4.5%. So inflation going forward would be lower. Point number 2. One of the factors that has an influence over inflation and a cause of concern for India, because that would lead to higher trade deficit, current account deficit, etc., is basically the crude oil prices. The crude prices. And whenever the crude prices have been higher, it has affected the domestic inflation rate. It has affected the current account deficit. It has also increased the trade deficit, reduced the availability of forex reserves, because there is a continuous higher outflow of dollars from India, assuming all the other factors remain constant. But very recently, RBI stated that the crude oil prices, the average import price for India, will be lower now from $90 to $85. So concern regarding forex reserves to a certain extent, again not all the issues are addressed here, to a certain extent, concerns regarding forex reserves or the import prices, trade deficit would be addressed here. Third very important point, what about the growth rate? What about the growth rate here? The growth rate for previous financial year, that is financial year 23, has been estimated at 7%, and for the current financial year, it has been estimated at 6.5%, which is a very good growth rate considering all the other issues that are taking place in the global economy, in the domestic market, etc. And the GDP growth rate that I'm talking here, it is the real GDP growth rate, not the nominal one, real GDP growth rate, that is after adjusting for inflation. So 1, 2 and 3. Fourth very important factor. RBI since last May I told you has increased repo rate, and the total increase by RBI is 250 basis points. In simple terms, repo rate in the last 1 year has been increased by more than 2.5% or 2.5%. Now RBI says they want to take a pause and they want to evaluate what is the impact of these rate hikes on the domestic market. They want to evaluate what is the impact of it. That is the fourth reason. They want to measure the impact of the rate hike on the market. And finally, the fifth reason why RBI has halted the hike in the repo rate or has basically taken a pause right now. And RBI governor clearly says it's basically a pause. It is only applicable for the monetary policy for the month of April. Going forward, whatever is the situation in the economy, based on that, they would be taking the decisions in the next monetary policy. So the fifth reason is there have been certain concerns regarding banking issues in the domestic market as well as international market. Although there has been no collapse of any banks in the domestic market, in the international market, there have been certain collapses. For example, SVB. RBI now says various other banks have taken a wait and watch policy, or they have basically adopted a concept of wait and see what is the impact on the market about this or regarding this fall of the banking sector. Same RBI says we will also adopt now. We will also wait and watch. Let's see what is the impact and is there going to be any more crisis in the international market, specifically within the banking sector. So these are some of the very important points citing which repo rate has been kept unchanged. Next, pre-approved credit lines for payments over UPI. Now what is this idea? Why this has been announced? Right now, if you want to use EPI, generally the usage of UPI is associated with the deposit account or the prepaid instruments, that is PPIs. For example, wallets, Paytm, PhonePe, etc. But last year, RBI has allowed usage of UPI to make payments using credit cards. Now RBI says they will allow the usage of UPI to make payments, that is basically pre-approved credit lines shall be used now to make payments using UPI. What is the meaning of it? All of you know the concept of a credit card. What is the basic idea of a credit card? A card is given to you, certain limit is decided and it will vary from one customer to another customer. You can use this card to make payments. The bank is not giving you cash, but it is providing a facility wherein you can use up to a certain amount of money to make payments. For example, you can go to a store, purchase a mobile phone, make payments using a credit card. It's basically an example of a credit line. In the same way, the credit lines are provided even to many of these companies in the domestic market. For example, MSME sector. And the advantage of a credit line is you're not taking the loan. You're basically availing this facility whenever it is required. For example, credit line of let's say 2 lakh rupees is available to me. Until unless I use the credit line, let's say I will withdraw 50,000 from that. Until unless I do that, the interest is not applicable to me. On the other hand, if I take a loan of 2 lakh rupees, definitely yes, the interest rate is applicable whether I use the 2 lakh rupees or I don't use the 2 lakh rupees. So credit line is a facility wherein certain amount of money is available, certain credit is available whenever there is a need. And only when you withdraw the money or whenever you use the credit line, the rate of interest becomes applicable to you. And this will provide a facility. Credit lines will provide certain facilities for the companies to use the money, to use the credit whenever there is requirement. So credit lines are already available to the customers of the banking sector. And this credit line, now the payments can be done using UPI. Now, what is the advantage of this? Imagine you have a credit card, you want to make a payment using credit card. don't you think you will require certain infrastructure for that? You will require certain infrastructure to make the payments through credit card. Now, if you use UPI, don't you think the requirement of infrastructure to make such payments automatically will come down? Hence, the cost related to these transactions are expected to come down. And the impact of this decision is that new products are expected to be introduced. MSME sector is expected to benefit because a new credit availability is there for them, etc. So that is the second very important announcement. Third very important announcement, NUE, new umbrella entities. The proposal of new umbrella entities has been put on the back burner. Now, what do you mean by new umbrella entities? The whole concept was that right now the retail payments are basically handled by NPCI, National Payments Corporation of India. We wanted to ensure that there's a competitor, one more entity called as a new umbrella entity, which will provide interoperable facilities, also provide parallel retail payment facilities just like NPCI. I repeat, we expected, that is RBI back in 2020 introduced the proposals and expected that a new entity will be there which will provide interoperable facilities plus parallel retail payment facilities just like NPCI. And because of this, there would be a better competition in the market. Customers would be getting the benefit. With this objective, NUE proposal was put forward. Many companies in a joint venture with many other fintech companies have given proposal to RBI, but RBI feels there is no much improvement or there is no better technology that has been pitched forward or that has been put forward by these companies, which is not a significant rise over the technology or difference over the technology which we are already using. That is a precise reason, although many proposals have been put forward by many entities, none of these proposals have been accepted, and RBI says now we'll put this idea of a NUE on the back burner, will not be providing any other facility regarding this right now. So these are the very important announcements that have been done by Reserve Bank of India, or technically speaking, the Monetary Policy Committee. Now, based on this, I've given a question here. Consider the following statements regarding disinflation. And RBI in the monetary policy statement has provided certain information regarding disinflation. The RBI governor stated that disinflation will be gradual, right, in the domestic market. Now, it represents a decline in the price levels of basket of commodities. No, that is a deflation. That is a deflation. Deflation basically means the price levels are falling down for the basket of commodities. What happens in a disinflation? Please understand this. In case of a deflation or inflation, it represents a movement of the prices, in which direction the prices are moving. Deflation means prices are coming down. Inflation means prices are going up for a basket of commodities. But when you say disinflation, it simply means the rate of inflation is actually slowing down. The rate of inflation. For example, if the prices of basket of commodities is 100, then 110, then 114. There is a rise in the price level, but the rate of inflation is actually falling down. That is called as disinflation. It represents a decline in the price levels. Wrong. It is opposite of inflation. No, it is a deflation, not disinflation. Right, so both the statements are wrong. Right option for the question will be option D, neither 1 nor 2. So these are the various aspects regarding the decision of the Reserve Bank of India very recently announced that I wanted to discuss with you people. If you like these initiatives, please hit the like button. Provide your valuable comments in the section below. And if you're yet to subscribe to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS, kindly do it now. Thank you. Have a great day.